verify we're energized, verify the tool's working, verify our head's in the game. We have mutual accountability. All right, bro. Go ahead to that top one. Okay. What do you see?
It says 1.
Okay, 1. The reason why it says 1 is because Dylan has the tool in the wrong setting. He's in the up to 2,000 kV, which is going to be for your secondary type work. But we're on some primary overhead, so he needs to take it to 25 kV. All right, it doesn't hurt the tool. If you have our tools in the wrong position and use it, they just give you a funky reading. Just remember that, all right? Funky. That was a word when I used to live here 40 years ago. You guys probably don't even know what that means. All right, you ready?
Yep.
All right, face to ground. What you get?
20.1.
Okay, pretty accurate. Phase to ground, we're energized, heads in the game. We're gonna go, I'm gonna go to this other cabinet. We're gonna do some phasing. Hear that cord?
Yeah.
Cord's buzzing, gets a little exciting. So, what do you got? What do you got?
0.2.
0.2. All right, so we got a little bleed on that cord, which is, you hear the buzzing, so that's cool. Now, if this cord was on wet grass, which you can use it on wet grass, you would probably see a 0.6. Okay, 0.6. A little more bleed, because you know how electricity works. All right? So what we're going to do is, CJ and I are high-potting. CJ and I are phasing, regardless. Here's what you do, the sequence. When you're complete, you're always going to take the secondary probe, and you're going to go to ground first. Always. You don't have to do it in this procession, but you know how tools work, you know how electricity works, and you're going to use the tool to give you the information that the tool is de-energized. So the way to do that is we're going to go to the ground first with the secondary probe, and then when CJ pulls the tool off that overhead line, he'll notice that it takes about 2 seconds to bleed off. It takes about 2 seconds to bleed off that capacitance, all right, on that conductor or the capacitance within the tool. It takes about 2 seconds. And the reason why it takes about 2 seconds, and you know why, is because there's resistors in the cone, in those probe tips, on the secondary probe and resistors on the meter probe. So you know, because of the resistors, the safety within the tool, that it doesn't de-energize instantly, it takes a few seconds. Okay, so you're going to pull the tool off that energized source or that cable you just high-potted, and you're going to allow that tool to tell you it's de-energized. All right, you ready?
Yep.
Go ahead, CJ. De-energized?
Yep.
All right, good. All right, everybody get that? Pretty good? Now, I got to talk about one thing real quick, CJ. Do you all do any wireless phasing? You do? Okay, so let's talk about wireless phasing. But first, before I do that, I got a call from a utility, I won't say their name. And the utility said, hey, we had an arc flash. And it was pretty serious. We were using your PD25, and we were in a substation, and we made contact with a hot bus, and we had an arc flash. Oh, really? Okay. Well, they sent us the picture, and check it out. There was another hot bus right next to the meter head. Primary power right next to the meter head. What happened was, you know how the tools work. You know that this tool is energized with this power, and they got a primary power here in direct relation to the friggin' ground plane without any resistors protecting that air dielectric. They didn't know. And what happened is that cord exploded at the meter head, that power that shot down to the secondary probe, exploded that cord at the secondary probe, and that cord was all black and charbroiled and in pieces. And I went to this it was a cooperative. I went to the cooperative to do safety training for them because I told them, you guys don't have the understanding. You don't have the knowledge, and you obviously don't have the safety to keep you guys protected. So when I talked to the linemen that this incident happened to, they both came up to me and said that when the arc flash took place, this is primary power, folks. When that arc flash took place, that they dropped their tools, they dropped their sticks, and went running, and that's a true story. They told it to me. So we went in this conference center. It was about 100 linemen. All their folks, they had a pretty good footprint. They were all in this conference center, and I talked to them about that 0-ohm extension. Because that 0-ohm extension, if they would have known about that on the end of that PD25, that incident would have never taken place. Never. All right, but the thing is that, okay, so they made one bad move that wasn't safe at all. Had nothing to do with safety when they put that meter head next to that hot bus. But the good thing they did is they trained their linemen, all of them, to stay 36 inches away from not only the tool, but the cord. And so they were. But just think, if when that arc flash took place, if that cord was next to that guy's thigh or calf muscle, and it got that primary power, you guys know about step potential, right? He might be missing a leg if he survived. Possible. But he did survive because he knew to stay away from that cord, and he was safe. So you can get away with one situation, but if you start combining two situations that are unsafe, man, things start happening really bad. Okay?